if one more person tells me to just breathe, I'll curse like a witch and tell them what they can do with their self-help. Here's why this platitude is garbage and what I do instead. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you've got a friend who is a spoiled brat and tell you to breathe when you wonder how you're about to pay the bills or what to eat tonight because you've no more money. Or maybe one of your ideas is discarded by a senior boss, and then suddenly, when it comes from a man, it's absolutely perfect and amazing. Truth is, just breathe is probably one of the oldest and most detrimental garbage self-help crap I've ever heard. And that's why I ended up composting it with another poisonous flower. And if you wonder who I am and why I do that, please just take a look at the backstory. It's a playlist I uploaded just for you in the upper corner. And maybe you want to follow along, so I'm showing you how I am just doing my embroidery. And if you wonder how you can get this outline, just check the description box below. Everything is listed and you'll see that it's very easy. The hoop, by the way, is 13 centimeters by 8, just in case. But let's go back to what we are talking about today, which is this stupid self-help tip that when you just breathe, everything will be suddenly perfect and rainbows will fall apart and glittery licorn will pop up. I know that for a fact breathing is absolutely fantastic to regulate your nervous system or whatever. My therapist is just adding this and pushing this into my throat for the past 3 years, and to be honest, I hate this tip. I am doing her exercise, but at the end of the day, I am just angrier after the exercise than before. And maybe I have no real explanation about why it is so inherently hard to just follow this simple step, but probably because it's something like the hygge culture. When it was explained by Mike Viking, it was a whole complex and ancestral practice. And when it became like mainstream, suddenly hygge was just like reduced to blanket and candle, which is just crappy and BS as well. And I think Just Breathe is the same kind of tip that is so surface level that it can't be really helpful because it is out of the context. And most of the time, you don't even know what's really happening in the life of the person who is sharing his or her issue with you. And when the only answer is but just breathe, it almost seems as if you are just like throwing a tantrum, or you're being too emotional or too desperate or too whatever. Almost as if they are unable to really and truly and fully listen to you for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe you just don't need an advice when you're having this breakdown, but they don't really realize it at all. And breaking news, Just Breathe won't help you to pay the bills. Just Breathe won't help you to get out of a toxic situation, because maybe you don't even realize what's really going on. And sure, you can't just flip a societal pressure on its head in a snap, but at least you can be heard and you can be acknowledged and validated in how you feel and how you are experiencing the moment and the situation at the moment. And I was absolutely pissed to listen this crappy self-help tips for a decade or more, to be honest, to the point that I had to do something. But I had to do something on my way, which is pretty twisted, I must admit. At Woven ARCANA, I am using the Victorian era language of flowers to compose self-help crap and to give a voice to my messy life experience. And I share my pattern with you because I'm sure I'm not the only one who go through these kind of moment and situation, and I want you to have the same feeling that I did when I was doing my therapy and I was totally unable to just articulate a sentence and speak with more than 3 words. And surprisingly, none of them helped me to order a tiramisu latte at Starbucks. But anyway, that's another story. You've got this story in the playlist, by the way. So I did what I always do when I was in the academia. I went back to my library and I looked at books and I searched for flowers and some meaning for flowers that could help me to embrace this part of myself that can heal without having to look for external validation, especially when this validation is just not so positive or not so reinforcing. And I stumbled upon the yarrow, and this yarrow is really special to me because it's the very first pattern I released at Woven ARCANA, and it's a very unique and very cute little flower. Like every flower in the Victorian era language style, it has a double meaning. You can just look at it and see a cute flowers, but when you know what you are looking for, the kind of if you know vibe, there is a lot more than what the eyes can see at first. So sure, you may see the yarrow as a cute little thing that will help you to stop bleeding and help you to heal, and it's one of the oldest medicinal plant we know in humanity. But when you go a lot deeper, you can also use the yarrow as a symbol, as a token, as a way to remember that no, you don't have to comply to those crappy self-help platitude everybody is rehashing around you, like some Pinterest board with live, life, love, or whatever it is. Sometimes it's not that easy and you are worth the time. I think that I realized when I started embroidery, and I tried so many arts and crafts before, knitting, clay, and crocheting, and drawing, and whatever with an ink at the end. I tried it, and because I'm a left-handed, some of those crafts were pretty messy, but surprisingly, embroidery was really helping me to stay focused and stay locked in what I was trying to process at the time. And each time I puncture the fabric with my needle, I'm trying to almost decipher or dissect the emotions and the experience I'm having at the moment, and why I have the right to choose the feeling I want to feel and the emotion I want to have as well. And by just doing one simple outline stitch over and over and over, my mind is suddenly having some breakthrough, and it almost creates how you say that in English, an upward spiral where suddenly what was really pissing me off is now turning inward into a renewal sense of energy and confidence. And I know that not everybody is good with embroidery, and that's why I really wanted to record myself doing this for you. And yes, I needed some coffee break, so no judgment. But the point is, when you have the outline, you can do whatever you want with it. I am doing my embroidery style, but I'll show you in the fourth video of this series that you can turn this outline in so many different things as well. So maybe give it a try. It's not about becoming a botanical expert. It's just about having and adding visual reminders that you are not powerless. In the next video, I'll show you what I do with the second half, and you may be very surprised. So stay tuned and look below for the description and how to buy this pattern.